What's up, everybody? It's day one. It's day one. Yes, it happened. I peaked and relapsed, and it just kind of snowballed into a relapse. Am I upset about it? A little bit. But I don't want to let this beat me up inside, but a full relapse is a full relapse. The past few times have been just peaking, but this one was a full relapse. And I'll go into what went wrong. But first, woke up as usual, went to the gym, did bicep and back day. It went really well. After that, went home, did a little bit of devotion, and then started working on my business. And as I was working on my business, it got to a point where I actively sought it out. And I think it is because right now I'm in a stage where I'm not doing much for my business. There's a lot of things there's a few things that I have to wait for. And so most of it's just product research, and I've been doing that for a while. And I'm just waiting for, constantly posting ads, seeing if it could take off, not seeing results. And even though I'm not supposed to see results in this short amount of time, or at least not expect to see results in this short amount of time, it got frustrating. I got bored. I stopped wanting to do it. And then from there, I kind of just started browsing the internet, and that turned into pornography, and then that turned into relapse. So it can be frustrating. And this isn't, my business as well as anything that is worth it in life takes time, and it takes dedication. And I screwed that up. Well, I guess I had more, since I've lived such a life of instant gratification. I expected to at least, sell one. But at the same time, I know it's not going to come early. Maybe probably at some point I have to kill my product as well, but that's what happened. That's what led to it. So, relapsed. We're still doing push-ups every hour. We're still doing all of that stuff, but I just let it get the better of me. So, something to look out for. But, yeah, that was pretty much my day. It was just that. It was just doing more business things. Now, tomorrow I have something to do later that night, which is Bible study, which is going to be nice. It's going to be very nice. And it'll be good to be among people again, last week I was, but, it's hard to go a week without any kind of social contact. It's been a while since I've had social contact. Been since Saturday, I believe. So it's been 4 days without any real social contact. And I wish I had, I had people around me that were of the same mind as me right now. That's something I've always struggled with. But we'll probably go over that in another video. This video is probably going to be super short, but that was my day. Yeah. And as you can see, I relapsed, so we're back to day one. I'm not upset. Well, I'm upset about relapsing, but I'm not upset about, restarting. I am sick of it. I am sick of relapsing. I am sick of being this. I'm sick of this being a thing in my life. Now, to give myself some credit, I did better than last attempt. And I think if I constantly do better and better and better and better, eventually I'll be able to kick the habit. So I'm noticing a lot of weakness in my life. And when I do, it pisses me off. I'm very it never used to do. I never used to care so much before, but now it definitely makes me angry. It makes me angry. It makes me feel weak. I don't like feeling weak, not anymore. And after my relapse, I felt extremely weak. And I don't ever want to be in a position where I am that weak anymore. So I want to be able to remember this anger, this pain, and I want to use it to continue to motivate me. And I hope I never forget this. I want to use that as fuel to stay away from NoFap, to do what I have to do. If I don't have anything to do, grab more things to do, to increase my burden. Because I think when you increase your burdens, you have more of a responsibility, not just to yourself, but to your other people, to God, to everything. So that's what I want to do if I ever get that bored again. So let's get to your questions. Gray, I agree that NoFap gave me a lot of confidence and more discipline. Nice. Not letting temptations keep me from being productive in my life. My question for you today is, what's your go-to cheat meal? My go-to cheat meal is, man, I haven't had it in a while because I've been on this diet, but it's hard because my go-to cheat meal really depends on what I feel like having at the time. Japanese food, like ramen or udon or a bento box. But yeah, Japanese food in general is an amazing cheat meal. I love Japanese food. I could also go for burgers or pizza or Hawaiian, like Hawaiian food. Hawaiian food's amazing. Hawaiian barbecue is amazing. But those are usually my go-to cheat meals, because they're so close to me, and I can get them. They're just so accessible to me. I don't have cheat meals anymore because I'm strictly carnivore. I don't want to get knocked out of that. The only time I'll actually have a cheat meal is if I'm like with other people, like either at a party or we're going out to eat. And I only cheat if I can't help it. Like if it's an occasion. If I'm just eating with friends, I'm gonna try my best to stick with my diet. But if I can't, well then I'm gonna try to get the least amount of carbs as possible. But if it's an occasion like a party, then yeah, I'm going to cheat a little bit. But that's a good question. I think a more interesting one would be your death row meal, because you can just smorgasbord everything. So I would include a lot more to that list on the death row meal. But anyway, we got other commenters. Nice. Ainsker or something like that. Relatable, I like your videos, keep it up. Thanks, bro. If you're a regular viewer, hey man, give me let me know if you have any questions you want to ask me. I'd happily answer them. Also, if you want to answer my question from last video, totally cool. I like interacting with you guys. Another new commenter, Elant. What do you pray about, and do you bring God into your relationships? So I usually pray, if you look at how Jesus taught people to pray, it's usually a version of that. I always make sure that I address who I'm talking to, the Lord of the universe. somebody lives that outside of the continuum, like that, when you come before the Lord, humble yourself and recognize that you're speaking to somebody that can snuff out the entire world if he wanted to, but because of how much he loves us, doesn't. But I usually pray about, I usually pray all of those things that how Jesus taught us to pray. But I also add on, praying for some of my friends that I have that I can't see right now. I also pray for blessings. I always ask God to bless me because I want them. I want to be blessed, and I also ask God to have me go through suffering, so that He could teach me, so that I might be able to learn something. Because sometimes suffering, especially self-inflicted suffering, can be an opportunity of learning. But at the same time, you grow closer to the Lord when you can endure your suffering. Because in your suffering, you're being tested. Your faith is being tested. That's what it says. I think 1 Peter says that. In your suffering, you're being tested. So rejoice in your suffering. And I pray for that. But ultimately, even though I want God to bless me, even though I want God to teach me to be more of a man and to have me suffer so that I might learn more, if there's more lessons to be learned, even though I pray for all of that, I always end it with, your will be done, because, whatever God ordains is right. So that's usually what I pray for. What do you bring God to your relationships? I do most of it. Well, my relationships in church, yes. When it comes to my career, the friends that I make in my career, I don't talk too much about God, unless an opportunity presents itself. Sometimes I make known that sometimes I make it known to them that I'm a Christian, and sometimes I don't. For the most part, I'm there to do my job. I'm there to do work. They're fun to be around, but at the same time, they're not people I would rely on as friends. It's more people they're fun, but I don't think that the relationship would be beneficial for either of us. And for the most part, in my career, there's not many people that are open-minded with an open heart to be able to listen. And I look for those things. I constantly look for those things. And when you work in my career, those kinds of things are kind of frowned upon. People are so ingrained in what they believe that they don't have an open mind and an open heart to hear. And it's sometimes easy to recognize, sometimes hard to recognize, but when people are curious about my faith, that's when I know that they have an open mind and an open heart. But yeah, for the most part, a lot of them are set in their ways. But yeah. When it comes to church relationships, obviously, when it comes to the friendships that I have with people in NorCal, definitely. When it comes to my family, sometimes we pray for the food, but we don't really talk to each other about deep topics, and God is a deep topic. It's classic Chinese family. But yeah, thank you all for your questions, and thank you all for your comments. I hope I get more of it. I really like interacting with you guys. That was a good question, Alance. I don't know. But yeah, my question for all of you guys is, I want to ask the one that great Richard Death Row meal. That's just gonna make me hungry. My question for you guys is, if you had to give up one, well, I don't even know if this is advice or not. I need to prepare for these before I hit record. I just hit record and be like, well, I got to talk about, I got to make this vlog, instead of okay, let's think about the question that I'm going to ask at the end of the video. I never ask. I never do that. I'm going to ask a very simple question because I've been asking very deep questions in the past few vlogs. So I'm going to ask a very simple question. What's your favorite cut of steak? Let's say that. What's your favorite cut of steak? Because I've been having so many steaks right now. I went grocery shopping today and got a bunch of tri-tip. So that was because they ran out of sirloin, which is what I usually cook with. But I do like sirloin. Sirloin's really good. Sirloin steak is my usual like go-to. But if I had to pick a ribeye, I like ribeyes. Ribeyes are really good. Or Wagyu. Like Wagyu steak is just phenomenal. If I could afford it. I mean, I can't afford it, but if I could afford, like, if I'm gonna blow like $30-$40 on one meal, then I would go with Wagyu for sure. Wagyu is delicious. That's my go-to steak. And medium. I'm not a medium rare guy. It's not that I dislike medium rare. I think medium rare is delicious. It's just a juicier steak, but I'm a medium. I like medium. It's more of a. It's less of a chew, but there's still a chew there. And it's still juicy. It's juicy enough for me, at the very least. So I like medium. Judge me all you want. Medium rare is usually the correct answer. I go for medium rare too sometimes. It's delicious. But I usually cook my steaks preferably, if I had a choice, I would go medium. That's me. It's me. But yeah, anyway, that's all I got for today. Thank you guys for watching. Stay strong. Stay focused. I'm with you guys. I know you guys are with me. No, I just relapsed. I'm moving forward. And I'm going to get twice as far and further than I did with this attempt. So stay strong and stay focused. I'll see you guys later. Peace.